Hello, and in today's My Big Campus class, we're going to show you how to create a quiz and assign this quiz to a group. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do after we've logged in is go to the left-hand side of your page and select Schoolwork. Once you've selected Schoolwork, it'll take you to this page. From here, we're going to go ahead and create new schoolwork, selecting the button on the upper right-hand corner that says Create Schoolwork. So this is the page that it'll direct you to once you're trying to create new schoolwork. Now from here, you are able to create different kinds of schoolwork. Now to see what types are available, just to the right of the word kind is a question mark. If you bring your mouse over that, it will tell you the different types of options you have. So the first is an assignment, which is a graded assignment that can include any combination of question groups or questions. A quiz, which is a graded test. An assessment, that is an ungraded test. So this would be good if you're trying to give your kids, a test that you want to just use as a formative assessment and not necessarily something you're going to put in their grades. You can give them a practice quiz. You can give them an anonymous survey. You can give them a poll. So in this instance, the difference between the survey is obviously the survey is anonymous. The poll will include the names of each student or person who is submitting. And then you have a simple assignment, which is an ungraded assignment that has no questions. So this will be good if you're trying to have students upload a file or submit an essay. So we're going to go ahead and create a quiz. So we're going to create a quiz and we are going to call it Quiz 1. We're going to add a description. This quiz will test you on specific questions. So from there, on the upper right hand corner, we're going to select Save and Continue. Now we'll be able to add questions. So the first thing you'll notice is it says add a new question group. Now adding question groups is important to note because if you are creating a quiz or a test that has multiple types of questions, for example, if we are going to give a test in math and we're testing on various different subjects, you may want a question group that is for slope and a question group that's for solving for a specific variable. And you'll see why in just a little bit. Below that, you'll see shuffle questions. That'll reorder your questions. This will shuffle your answers. The next one is shuffle answers, which means if you have a multiple choice answer, it'll shuffle your options of A, B, C, D, or E, for example, so that no student will have them in the same order. And then randomly use means that if you have a question group or a few question groups and each question group has 10 questions, you can select a certain amount of questions from each question group. So we'll get into that a little bit more later. So we're going to go ahead and add a new question. So add a new question is the button on your left that's in green. So we're going to add a new question. We're going to select multiple choice, and we're going to type in our question, solve for x, and the question is x plus 5 equals 6. We're going to allow the student to have a maximum score of 5. You can obviously change that to whatever you would like. And you'll also see right here just above the typing window or typing area, you can insert a video, you can insert an image, or you can insert a video from your drive. We don't need to do any of that just now. We also don't need to attach files, which you'll see here in blue. We do need to put some answer choices. So we're going to go ahead and type in x equals 6. We can type in x equals 1, which will be our answer. So we're going to select the circle to the left of it just to indicate that that is the correct answer. And we are just below that, we're going to add new answer choices. So x equals 5. And let's do one more. X equals 11. Once you've done that, go ahead and click Save. And you've now added a question. Let's go ahead and add another question. This time we're going to add an essay. And the essay will be, what is your favorite food and why? Go ahead and save that. And now we have two questions. Let's add one more fill in the blank, which means it'll still grade it for you. So you'll notice right under question it says left side text, a blank, and the right side text. The blank in the middle is going to be where your correct answer should be. So for this, we don't need to use a left side and right side, but we are going to type in solve for x, then we're going to type in the equation x plus 7 equals 5. The correct answer is going to be listed as x equals -2. So just to emphasize a little bit, or just to explain a little bit more on what the right side text portion means, is, for example, for English language, if they were to do fill in the blank and they wanted the student to answer with the correct word, it could be, today I am feeling blank after a good night's sleep. And in the blank, that would be where the student could add in whatever word they feel, however they're feeling after a good night's sleep. But we don't need that in this instance. So once we've added our question, we're going to go ahead and save that. Okay. Now let's go back to randomly use all questions one last time. So you would want to use you would want to create these question groups because they help work with the randomly use option. If I wanted to create a test so that no student gets the same test, or very few of them get the same test, or they all have different types of questions, that's when you'd want to create a question group. Again, if I'm doing a math test and I created 3 question groups, one on solving for x, a second one on discovering slope, and a third one on slope-intercept form, then if each of those 3 question groups had 10 questions each, so 30 questions total, but I didn't want to give my students a 30 question test, I could select 3 questions from each group, so that would be 9 questions total. However, when My Big Campus generates this quiz, they will select 3 questions from the 10 from each group, which means that every student should get a different test entirely, which we'll again cover when we get to unpacking schoolwork. So once you've created this quiz, you could add standards. Actually, let's stay on this page and save this. So we're gonna, on the upper right hand corner, select save. Now we're going to add standards. So once we've gotten to standards, we're going to go ahead and select the region. So this is the United States, and we're going to select California. We'd like Common Core content standards for math. And this is for 8th grade. So let's say this is for the number system. So we can break this down even further and say this is for the number system. And of the number system ones, there's know that there are numbers that are not rational and approximate them by rational numbers. You'll see there are 2 different options. I'm going to select the number system for both, including both standards. And you'll notice that there's a heart right next to it. If you so wanted to, you could select the heart and that'll save that to your favorite standards. So you don't have to go through all of these drop-down menus. And the way you do that is you select the heart and then it will automatically be added. So now we've selected a standard. We're going to go ahead and click save again. Now we're going to assign it by going to assignees. So we're going to add new assignees just below the present. And we're going to add this to the Schoolwork and Bundles group. So you notice I went to Schoolwork and Bundles and selected the plus sign right next to it. Now we're going to look at some of the option features. So the option features will allow you to select a start date when it's available. So if I wanted to create this quiz, but I don't want it to be available for 2 months because we won't be at that particular section for 2 months, I can put a start date. I can also put an add date. So if I want to give it to my kids and have them take it for an hour, then that's where I would add your due date. Now, one thing to keep in mind, when you add a due date, if a student is absent and they're not able to take it by that due date, then you will have to go back and reassign it to that student. One way around it is to allow late submissions, which you'll see 3 lines below. So if I were to select allow late submissions, a student who was not able to finish it can still turn it in late. We can add a password, going back up 2 more lines. We can add a password so students aren't able to take the quiz unless they know what the appropriate password is. We can allow multiple submissions. Right now it's 1 submission only. So if a student did poorly and you wanted to give them a second chance, you could reassign it, or you could change that maximum submission to 2. Time allowed. You can give them a specific amount of time to finish this quiz. Retake threshold is very important, and you'll see when we get to the bundle exchange portion. The retake threshold says that if a student does not get a specific percentage, they will have to retake it again. So, if let's say you set a threshold of 70% and a student gets a 69, it will not allow them to go on until they have taken the quiz again, scored 70 or above. Next one is show results on completion. Do you want them to see their score? I typically say yes. Show correct answer on completion. So depending on my application, I may not show them the correct answer because I don't know if I want them to share that just yet. Lastly is it can create a new discussion for your groups automatically once this quiz has been taken. So once we've decided that, we're going to go ahead and click Save. So now you've created a quiz. Creating other schoolwork will work very similar to the way that this has been done. So now let's review. In this video, we learned about the types of schoolwork that you can create. So let's review. In this video, we worked on creating schoolwork, in this instance a quiz. We learned about the different types of schoolwork assignments. Then we went through and assigned the quiz to a group using the various different options including due date, retake thresholds, and late submissions. So that's all for now. I'll see you guys next time.